Hi, today I'm going to try and recreate a sign that we saw in Cos to go in our outside gazebo area to hopefully create a little bit more ambience for those lovely summer evenings sitting and chilling. So come to my workshop and let's see how I get on. So welcome back to the workshop. The letter's back from a friend who's been nice enough to use his laser engraver to cut them out of a 4mm piece of wood. So I'm going to sit here and try and pick the letters out. I'm going to make the layout of the sign and start creating it from there. This was a little bit more tricky than I thought because the letters were really flimsy. So I peeled the backing paper off, and to be honest with you, I was lucky I didn't break any of them. Now I've got all the letters out and all the words, none of them are broken. It's time now to lay them out to see how big I can actually get my sign. After making the decision of going to Wicks and getting some soft cladding traditional wood boards in 1.8 metre lengths, I ripped them down to 900 and just glued them together using a Type-on glue. However, when lifting them, I did find that it was rather floppy, so I then used some extra wood that I had laying around to brace the back of the board. I just used Type-bond with some tight head lost head screws, clamped them down to the board and let them dry. Once it was dry, it made it a really solid board to go forward with. Sanded it down and it came out better than I thought. So the glue's all dried, the board is nice and sturdy now. I've just sanded it down, I've dusted it off, so next job is a little bit of methylated spirit to clean the wood, all ready for a little bit of grey wash. Finally, the wooden canvas has dried for the sign. I'm now going to attempt to put a frame around the outside of it. I'm going to get my table saw and take out some wood there to sort of recess it inside the frame, so it will sit probably 1/4 inch underneath the wood, and it'll make it look a little bit more aesthetic, I think. And then what I'm going to attempt to do is build a jig for my router to router a channel from up here to recess these little LED tracks inside. So I've got to get the right depth and then run the LED lights inside and then put the diffusers. Hopefully it will illuminate the sign on those nice summer evenings. Sounds easy, but let's see how I get on. So the board fits inside the frame nicely. I took the wood to my table saw to make some rabbet cuts. I don't have a dado stack, so I just finished off with some sandpaper and also hand chiseled down the wood to make it as smooth as I possibly could. Once I did that, I made some miter cuts for the frame, assembled it outside to see how good the miter cuts were, and it turned out pretty well, I think. Let me know in the comments. So we've got the frame made, we've got the rabbets cut into the frame, we've got the edges mitered, and now the next job is to run this LED track inside the frame in a channel. So I've made a jig out of a bit of hardboard, the width of the channel, so my trim router fits nicely across the top. Sanded it down. I've allowed for the bush here, I think it's probably a mil, 2 mil. I had to fiddle making these bits of hardboard which I stuck with super glue and an activator. Going to clamp it down. I've made a rail at the back here so the lines, so the channels are going to be in the same place every time. Clamp it down to the bench and router a nice channel in. As you can see, I'm putting some blue masking tape on my 90-degree clamps so I don't mark the wood, as we've spent so long getting it to a condition that you want. So I'm going to open the clamps up and this will keep it in the right position whilst the glue dries.
After all the 90-degree brackets were in place with the glue, I decided to shoot some brad nails into each of the corners, touched it up with a bit of wood filler and sanded it down. So when I took it into my garage for the final coat of the primer, because it is going outside, it just leaves that nice finish. I decided to prime all of the letters as well as the starfish that I had and bought and sanded down for the final stage, which was using the Sincere RAL 7016 anthracite colour grey paint, and the finish that I got was absolutely beautiful.
We've finally sprayed the frame now, and we've used this all coat exterior satin in a sort of an anthracite, in an anthracite colour. The frame's come out lovely. I've sprayed it with my Draper 24 litre air compressor, and now we're going to spray the frame or the panel in this weathered wood white smoke finish. So we're just going to load the gun up and get spraying here. So it's been raining outside, so I had to get all the other frame and back canvas wooden balled thingy-majig that I made, which I just sprayed and put it in the garage so it's to dry. With this English weather, as soon as it looks sunny, it then starts to rain. Anyway, I've come back into the workshop. I've laid all the letters out that I've primed, and now I'm going to spray them with this copper spray, which I've done a few tests and they've come out quite well.
We're putting our LED tracks around the outside as frames. So I've cut them to length already. It's dried, it's had a couple of hours to dry, and it's come up a lovely colour, lovely smooth finish with a spray gun. So I'm going to now fit all these in and then run the LED lights in and start wiring it up.
So we've let the cladding dry overnight, and now it's time to fit our frame, which we have put all the tracking for the LED lights in, and we're going to see if that fits over the top, which it does, into the rabbets that we cut. And then we're going to use this clear stick it all extreme power to stick the frame onto the board and then run the LED lights. A bit of bad news today, as I had to put my 16-year-old doggy down today. Bless. Wife's mortified, as you would expect. So I've come to my happy place, safe place, which is my workshop, to complete my outdoor picture. So the frame's dried, as I said, and it's now time to fit the LED lights into the diffuser tracks. I bought a couple of lights. I bought these battery ones, and I've bought these weatherproof IP67 outside lights here. And what I'm going to do is, I prefer the white lights because they give a constant light instead of the flashing ones that look like a bit of a funfair. So I'm going to get on, drill a hole through the frame for the wire, and then run them through the track and put the diffusers on, and then start putting the wording on. So let's see how I get on.
Well, we finally got there. The frame's complete, all the profiles are in, the LED lights look absolutely, well, I think they look okay when it's lit up. I lit it up last night when it got a little bit dark, as I've done all the electrics on the back, put the drivers in. So now it's about putting all the letters on that I've sprayed for the sign to come together, which you'll see later on.
Well, that took a lot longer than I thought. It took around about 2 to 3 weeks from start to finish, what with the weather and the other factors. And I've now just put it up on the fence and it looks absolutely stunning. As you can see, you can shake the sand from your shoes, but it will never leave your soul. I'm going to switch it on tonight, so I'll show you it when it's all lit up and it's a little bit darker. So if you like this project and you want to see any more, please like and subscribe, and until the next time, thank you and bye bye.